So a little over a week ago, I got a brand new fragrance in and did my first impressions on it for you guys. There's no note breakdown. It's unreleased at this point in time. It will be on its way out, but I was waiting to do my full review until I got in a comparable fragrance that you guys wanted me to talk about in my full review, as well as waiting for the note breakdown. Well, I got the fragrance in and the note breakdowns doesn't seem like it's coming at this point in time, so I'm just going to give you guys what I get from it. But this is my full review of Spicebomb Metallic Musk by Viktor and Rolf and the comparison to Spicebomb Fresh that you guys have been wanting me to do. So that's what we're talking about today. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back at you with another full review of I guess you could call it an unreleased designer fragrance so far here in 2025. It's brand new, but it will be coming out soon. I don't know how soon. I'm guessing within the next month is what I'm hearing. If you did watch my first video, you probably were able to find a decant or a bottle because scentrush.us has decants where you can get a 5% off code using DOUD5. I'm not affiliated. They just gave it to me. And they have decants of all sizes of this fragrance. And then they will have bottles at some point in time. If it is now during this video, I will post it below in the description. If not, then when it is available, I will put it under my post tab on my channel. With that said, we are doing my full review of this unreleased designer fragrance here in 2025. It is Viktor and Rolf Spicebomb Metallic Musk Eau de Parfum. This was kind of like a pre-release bottle, and it was 0 degrees whenever this was delivered. So I have like these like bumps, like bubbles on the thing. But when it arrived, I told you guys in my first impressions, I thought this might be metal because it was so cold that I didn't think it could be glass. But what I'm thinking it is that it's the Spicebomb bottle with this chrome wrap on it. I know that there was a wrap, but the wrap kind of makes it feel a little bit more metallic, but I think it's still the glass, just with a different style wrap. And then as you can tell, it has the silver sticker going around it. And then the top, I still wish the top had a wrap on it, but it doesn't look like they really can do that. It's the crappy old Spicebomb top with the Spicebomb pin, and then you throw it. That's the way you get it. When you guys get these bottles in, if you didn't know, you take the pin out and you throw it across the room, preferably at your wife, but it's really up to you. So my daughter's looking at me. With that said, so Spicebomb Metallic Musk. And again, you guys kept asking me. I got to tell you, there was about 50 people just in my first post before I even did my video that said, does it remind you of Spicebomb Fresh, which is this one? This came out in 2014. It was discontinued in 2016. If you've been following my channel along, I wasn't huge into fragrances until about 2018. That's when I really started getting big into fragrances, even though I had about 10 to 15 fragrances. This was not one of them. It was discontinued in 2016. So I finally found it from a reputable seller on eBay for $109, and I decided to pick it up, which to me, that's better than most designer prices nowadays. So I will give you a comparison nearing the end. So if you want to skip to that, go ahead. So Spicebomb Metallic Musk, how does it smell? So it smells great. Really, the best way that I can put this is that it is a slightly, like if we had knobs that you could tune up the freshness and tune up the cleanliness, this would take Spicebomb EDT. It would dial down the spice about halfway. It would dial up the freshness just one notch. And then it would dial up the cleanliness to like an 8 to a 10 from a 0. Because the original Spicebomb really isn't a clean fragrance. But when you first spray this on, that's where it's the most clean. It smells like, and there's a lot of musk. It's the white musk that's really giving this kind of like laundry, cleanly feeling that has a bit of a soapy nuance. It's just because it's a bombardment of white musk that is really in that opening. And it's a very strong fragrance, especially in the opening. So you definitely get bombarded with Spicebomb EDT, dialed down the spice, meets this clean white musk. And a little bit of a soapy nuance. So I'm guessing there's a little bit of like a lavender, maybe a little bit of ginger or something in this that's providing that soapiness. But I wouldn't call this a fresh spice bomb. I would call this a slightly fresher, very clean spice bomb. And I want to get that through people's heads because in my first video, I think I said that 6 or 7 times, that this is not a fresh spice bomb. It's a slightly fresher spice bomb EDT made for probably the spring and the fall. You could wear it like summer if you decided to work or something, if it was like a 60 to 70 degree day. But it's a clean spice bomb, not a fresh spice bomb. And I will get to that more when I get to the Spice Bomb Fresh DNA. So, as this starts to dry, so I do want to tell you there's that Spice Bomb DNA. You still get the vanilla in the opening, albeit died down. You get the spices like a black pepper, maybe a bit of cinnamon. It's more just, it smells like the Spice Bomb spices, but more of that black pepper just really abated. It's very, very dialed down in this fragrance to the point where the spices just create this kind of like undertoned nuance. And then once you get about a half hour to 40 minutes into the fragrance, that's where this one starts to really get into that base. And because this is an eau de parfum concentration, you would think is exactly what it's doing. Because in an eau de toilette, really those top notes are the things that are going to show their face for the longest period of time. That's what the fragrance will be focusing on. And while it will be a lighter scent most of the time, at the end of the day, the base notes won't pop as much. In an eau de parfum, you get a nice mix of the opening and the base for a good period of time. And then in a parfum elixir, that's usually where the higher the concentration, the more the top notes kind of just go away after a few minutes. And that's why when you have an elixir like Azzaro, Forever One elixir, and all of those fragrances, that's why those base notes are really what shows their face as the main part of the fragrance. Or the Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male elixir, where it's that tonka bean and vanilla mixture that really shows its face. It's because in the higher concentrations, the base notes are really what they're focusing on, and those top notes will be so gone so quick. So I always recommend to people, unless this is an eau de parfum, and while it is different for each brand, if it's an eau de toilette, focus more on the top notes, and then give a little bit of credit to the base. But whenever it's anything above an eau de parfum, whether it's a parfum or anything, concentrate more on the base notes, because that's what you're going to be getting more of. Anyway, back into the fragrance. So once you get about 30 to 40 minutes into this fragrance, and it starts to get into that base, that's where the musk starts to really subside, and it starts to go into the background. While it's still there and you still do get that clean white musk, it really pushes itself below the vanilla, down kind of where the spices are, and just mixes it together down there. And that is where the rest of this fragrance is pretty simplistic. I think you might get a little bit of lavender floating its way through there, like I said, because it does have that cleanliness and that soapiness, but also a slight bit of aromatics. But that's where you really get into this kind of semi-powdery vanilla that feels very luxurious, very clean, in the way that the clean white musk and the very subsided amount of spices mixed together with that vanilla. It just comes off very clean, very nice, masculine, and it has a modern feel to it, which is why I love this stuff. I think that this stuff might be one of my favorite spice bombs just because it is so wearable. Like if you look at the Spice Bomb EDT, it's a wearable fragrance, but I don't know, the spices do something to me where it doesn't feel like overly wearable. This one makes it wearable day or night. Office, or you can go out with it. I wouldn't recommend it as like a clubbing scent, but I mean, if you just want to go out and smell and clean, you can get out of the shower and you can wear this. I mean, there's a lot of different situations you can wear metallic musk in. And when people keep saying, is it overly metallic? And when you hear metallic, people are so much about comparisons nowadays. For instance, when I first posted this, does it smell like Sauvage metallics? Does it smell like this metallics? Does it smell like, what's that? I can't think of the name, but there's another brand that I just reviewed the other day that had metallics in it. And I was like, it doesn't smell like those at all. Just because it's metallic doesn't mean it smells like this, or this. Or the other day, whenever I was posting, especially brand new releases, hey, does that new replica by Maison Margiela, you think it's going to smell like their answer to Louis Vuitton Afternoon Swim? Or do you think that the new Parfums de Marly is going to smell like Imagination? Like, do you think it's going to be their answer? Like, who cares? I mean, just try the fragrance. I doubt it, because Parfums de Marly's never done that before. So I keep getting comparisons. This doesn't smell like anything outside the Spicebomb line. And even in its own line, I mean, it smells like Spicebomb Eau de Toilette, just like cleaner and stuff. And it puts itself further away that it's not redundant. And that's why I really like the fragrance. But let's get into the performance real quick before I finalize it. The performance with this is freaking the best one in the line. I didn't expect that from Metallic Musk. I just didn't. I mean, I guess musk is the type of ingredient in a fragrance that is used to prolong a fragrance. So I guess that's why. But in the first 2 hours, it's pushing out like almost at elixir level. Like, it's very, very nicely pushing out. It's going to be 6 feet, a little bit more. But I told you guys, once it starts to get about an hour to 2 hours in, it starts to get like more like a foot off your skin, but it stays like that for like 12 hours. I don't understand what's going on. It's like it loses no traction. It's like it becomes a personal bubble, and then it just stays there forever. And so if you're looking for a long-lasting fragrance that's not going to offend anybody, this is it. So if you like the Spicebomb style of vanilla, that's going to be in this one, but it's not as much as the Extreme. I paired them side by side. It's not even close to as much of Extreme. I don't like the Extreme, and I love this. Just to give anybody the thoughts, if you're new to my channel, I do not like the Extreme. I love this. So as far as seasonal, it's everything besides summer. I would say, again, in the summer, you make your decision. I'm not going to tell you not to wear it, but I would say this is spring, fall, winter would be fine. As far as the comparisons to Spicebomb Fresh, let's get this out of the way, and then I'll do a full video on it. This doesn't smell like this. This is fresh. This is what actually is fresh. And I said this to somebody about 5 minutes ago. Spicebomb Metallic Musk is almost like the train that left the Eau de Toilette station and broke down halfway to fresh before it hit the lemon stand. And so that's exactly the way that this smells. And it was kind of like it got stuck in the musky metallic forest. That was the way that I put it. And that's really a better analogy than explaining the notes and everything, because this is citrus. This is more bright. This has more, less, like really not much powder at all. And this has the spices of Spicebomb Eau de Toilette. This has the spices, but so far down, you don't really even need to pay attention to the spices very much. But this one still has the spices. So if you were still expecting this type of spice, you're not really getting it with this, because it's so overpowered at the time where the spices would be by the musk. And so I wouldn't be too overly exhumed by that. But with that said, if you're looking for the fresh Spicebomb that's more for the summer, here you go, Spicebomb Fresh. Even though this one, like, it's still a Spicebomb, so it's not like overly fresh, especially when you get to the dry down. And Spicebomb Metallic Musk is the clean, slightly fresh version of Spicebomb. Which one do I like better? I honestly don't know. Everybody said this was going to be my favorite, and I got this in, and I love it. I think it smells great, but I love this too. If you like this, I am almost 100% sure you will like this. Unless you have something really much against, like, clean musk, clean white musk. That I don't think you, because that's what this fragrance is. Even though it's called metallic musk, it's not as much metallic as it is musky. But then when you get to the dry down, it's more vanilla than anything. But even that vanilla is more, it's very well blended, and it's not too strong. But overall, I would give this fragrance probably an 8, like maybe I wouldn't say 8.5, just because it's still nothing that's blowing me out of the water. But I still think that it's a really good fragrance, and it's in the Spicebomb line, outside of Dark Leather and Spicebomb Night Vision Eau de Toilette. I don't, Dark Leather and Extreme. Those three really just whatever for me. Infrared is my favorite. Infrared Eau de Parfum is my second favorite. Night Vision Eau de Parfum is my third favorite. I would probably jump this up in the middle of like maybe number 2 or number 3 because I like myself a fresh, spicy fragrance. So I would say this one and maybe this one tied with it. I think these two are very, very. This one's a nice spring one. Like wear this in the spring, wear this in the summer, and you'd be good. So overall, I think that I'll have to give this more wears, but I think Spicebomb Metallic Musk is a really nice addition to the Spicebomb line. Let me know if you guys have tried it. I'll also do a few upcoming shorts and then also add it to a few list videos once we do get the note breakdown so we can look at it. But again, the most that I'm going to say is that it's vanilla, probably some lavender, maybe some ginger. Don't quote me on that. Black pepper, maybe a little bit of cinnamon, like as the undertone nuance. You're definitely getting white musk, and you're gonna get probably that little picture of the metallic symbol. That's its metallic notes. Outside of that, maybe a tad bit of woods in the dry down, but nothing that's really rearing its head. It's a very, very simplistic fragrance. Musky vanilla, nice clean laundry smell, and then you get that slight metallic tone when the vanilla comes in. And then you're kind of like subsided by some powder and the spices. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any other questions. I know I just rambled on a bit, but I had a lot of stuff to cover and a lot to talk about. So thank you guys so much, and again, I'll be back with another video. Thank you so much. Peace out.